James.
Hi, my name is James, and this is James Loves Games, and welcome to my top 5 Nintendo Switch games video as of 2020. Starting with number 5, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Now, I know this is probably kind of shocking to see on a Nintendo Switch top 5 list with so many amazing games available to all of us, and it got kind of mediocre reviews too. But to me, this game is just really, really fun. Granted, it's not the most polished game. It's a little bit clunky. The camera's kind of all over the place, especially when you have more than one person playing. But I'm willing to outweigh all of that with the fact that I am such a huge Marvel fan. I love Marvel comic books and Marvel movies and the characters and everything. And so I just love having dozens and dozens of different Marvel characters to play as. You've got all these cool sets and levels and backgrounds and things. You can go to these different worlds and dimensions. And it's just a Marvel fan's dream come true. Plus, all of the DLC that they've released really extend their replayability, as well as all the challenge modes and things like that. If the game is too easy for you, there are challenge levels that are definitely pick up the difficulty for those who want a more hardcore punishing experience. And like I said, it suffers in polish, but it makes up for that in the fun factor for me and for the replayability with all the DLC and new characters and new levels and new challenges and things like that. So it's definitely a solid game, and if you like Marvel characters even a little bit, you should look at picking it up. Number 4 is also probably a bit of a surprise, Golf Story. It's a golf RPG, and I know that sounds like just the weirdest game ever and certainly not one deserving to be on a top 5 list, but I thought the same thing when I first saw it. It looked ridiculous. It's got really kind of cartoony looking retro Super Nintendo era graphics, but this game is so charming and so funny that it is honestly, it's probably the funniest game I've ever played. And that plays really big with me. As far as the fun, I mean, it's a blast. I've never played a round of golf in my life. I've hit some golf balls at a driving range before, and that's okay. I can hit the ball after about 100 tries, but golf isn't the reason that I love this game so much. So don't let that stop you from enjoying this. This is an RPG that is just plain fun. If you like mini games and RPG mechanics and leveling up, and you like hilarious NPC characters and just a funny, goofy story, then this is definitely the game for you. It suffers a little bit in replayability. I mean, I played through the game completely and did all the quests and everything, and I probably put like 25 or 30 hours into it maybe, which is not a whole lot. Aside from playing the main story, you could just pick up and play 9 rounds of golf, and single player or multiplayer on all the different courses available in the main campaign, and you can change all the settings and things like that. And so there's a lot of other replay, and I've jumped in and played more of this game since I beat it. Every couple of months I'll just get the urge to play a couple rounds of golf, and it's just fun to pick up and play again. And I'm eagerly awaiting the release of the sequel to Golf Story, Sports Story. It was supposed to come out this past summer, but the developers decided that they were going to be so ambitious with the game, they wanted to do it right. They wanted to put in all of the things that they wanted to put in without sacrificing any of it. And so they delayed it indefinitely, and they're still working on it. And I cannot wait for this to come out because these guys have got the formula down for just fun, hilarious game. Number 3 is Super Mario Maker 2. And my goodness, if you do not have this game, stop watching this video and go buy it right now. Download this game onto your Switch right now and go play it instead of watching me talk about it, because it is a must buy. This game is amazing. If you love platformers at all, if you love Mario at all, this is probably going to be the greatest game in the world to you. This is the pinnacle of Mario to me. It's fun out the max. I mean, you've got the brain power of millions of people working together, making all kinds of crazy levels for me to enjoy at my leisure. And they range from just ridiculously easy automatic levels to just insane, only like 5 people on planet Earth are going to be able to beat this kind of levels. and everything in between. The imagination that I've seen from the creators of these levels is just unbelievable. Like, the amount of time and effort that people put into making levels is just extraordinary. And I'm not much of a level maker myself. I did make one level just to say that I made one, and that was enough to satisfy me. I'm more of a player. I just enjoy having all these levels to play. This game literally has millions and millions and millions and millions of levels to play. It's going to take you like hundreds of years to play all these levels. There's so many of them. They're just amazing. There's more and more being made every single day. Nintendo releases new content. They make official levels in the form of ninja runs where you can compete for the best time. There's almost literally an infinite amount of levels to play. As far as making levels go, it's very simple. It would be much easier to make the levels on a PC, but considering it's on the Switch controller, it's pretty simple and easy to do. And I play it at least once a week. On my lunch break, I can come home, and if I've got like 15 minutes, I know that's plenty of time to jump in and do a couple levels on Mario Maker and just have a blast and then go back to work. And so the pick up and play is there, and I could probably pick this up in 10 years and still have a blast playing it. Number 2 should come as no surprise to anybody who's seen a lot of the videos on my channel is Dragon Quest XI. It is probably the best JRPG of this generation, possibly of any generation. I think it is probably the best Dragon Quest game out there. And I think it deserves to stand next to the ranks of Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger or Super Mario RPG. I mean, it's that good. It's super polished. It's exactly what you would expect from a Dragon Quest game. One of the great things about the Dragon Quest games is that they're all very familiar. It's like an old friend has come to visit you. All the sounds are familiar and the enemies are familiar. And it's just very comforting to have all of these entities from the past come and you can enjoy all the nostalgia, as well as all of the new technology that goes into the newer games like this one, all the quality of life things. If you love JRPGs, this is definitely deserving of any praise that it gets because it's a wonderful game. Even if you don't like JRPGs, you should give it a try because it's genuinely fun and very charming. As far as the replayability goes, I put over 130 hours into this game easily. There's just tons of content to check out and unlock. But I just finished it not too long ago, a few months ago, and I still don't feel the urge to jump in and play it right now. But I have a feeling that in the next couple of years or so, I'm going to get that itch again and want to jump back in and maybe start a new game. Because it is genuinely fun. And it's certainly a lot of game for your buck. So check it out. Finally, the moment you've all been waiting for. My number 1 favorite game on Nintendo Switch as of 2020. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I think that this should be obvious. This game has it all. It's in the name. It is ultimate. If you love fighting games, it's an amazing fighting game. If you love adventure games, it's got a fantastic adventure mode. If you love Nintendo characters, if you love collecting things, if you love great music, great levels, just great games, this is a great game. It's super fun. It's fairly easy to pick up. I mean, it's one of those that you can kind of button mash and make your way through it, but it's so much more fun once you learn how to play properly. The feeling that you get when you hit somebody just right and it does that little zoom in thing and it goes whoosh, and you hit them and they just go flying off the edge of the screen. There's no better feeling in the world, honestly. It's so satisfying. As far as replayability, World of Light, the single player campaign alone is going to give you dozens of hours of fun. It is humongous. There are tons of things to unlock, tons of characters to fight, and just things to see. And it's just a really huge experience. There's no limit to how many fights that you can have. I mean, there's like 70 something plus characters. It might even be up to 80 at this point. I don't even know. You can customize the rules to your matches to your heart's content. I have one that's just all hammers, where the level is full of hammers, and if you pick them up, you just smack each other and you all go flying off the level. Just because I thought that would be funny. You can make tournaments. You can even use amiibos to fight. you can fight your amiibos, and the amiibos can level up. I made an amiibo tournament a few months ago, and it was a blast watching all of my amiibos fight each other in real time. And the list goes on and on and on. It's just the best game on Nintendo Switch as far as I'm concerned. And if you have a Nintendo Switch and enough money to buy one game, buy Smash Bros. Ultimate, because it is the ultimate Nintendo Switch game, period. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention a few other games, because I know some people are going to look at my top 5 list and say like, well, hey, you didn't mention this game, or how could you not mention this game? How dare you? Blah, 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 blah. I just want to give some shout outs and some honorable mentions to a few games, just so that the fans of those games know that I mean you no harm, and I do respect these games. So the first honorable mention obviously goes to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It is highly regarded as the best game on Nintendo Switch by reviewers. It is a fantastic, wonderful game. It is so good. It is fun, high replayability, and very, very polished. It is a top tier game. My problem with it is I played Breath of the Wild so hardcore when I got it. It was the only game I had on Nintendo Switch when I got it at launch. And it's all I played, and I just played it so much, I just got burnt out on it. I did literally everything there is to do in the game. I didn't collect all the Korok seeds, because that's just, what was it, Dwight Schrute said, some tasks are not worth doing. It's truly a great game. I just feel like I played it to the extreme, and I just burned myself out. Maybe I'll touch Breath of the Wild in a few years, but it's just not on my top 5, so that's it. But it's still a great game. The next honorable mention is Super Mario Odyssey. Same thing as Breath of the Wild. Fantastic game, really fun, lots of polish. It just didn't have the staying power. Once I beat the game and did all the side quests, and I played the online stuff where you catch balloons and all that, I did it all. And so there's nothing left to do. I don't have any desire to jump back into it at all. And so that's why I feel like it doesn't belong on my list, because I feel like I've just sort of retired from Super Mario Odyssey. Maybe I'll pick it up and play it again here in a few years, but I really don't see myself doing that right now. Finally, my last honorable mention, if you have Nintendo Switch Online, you should definitely be playing the Super Nintendo games they have available. While the selection of games isn't amazing, as far as first-party titles go, it's got some pretty solid stuff. If you never grew up with a Super Nintendo, I highly recommend jumping in and playing some of those, because it's got some really good stuff that I feel like everyone should play at least once. Well, that's it. That's my list and all of the honorable mentions and helpers. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this entertaining. Please let me know in the comments what your top 5 Nintendo Switch games are. Put your own recommendations for anything that I didn't mention here. See you next time on Bye. I have props too.